I therefore implore you, reader, to please not be tempted to explore the trestle after reading the Glassblower. It's not worth it, and you're not going to get to Valere by jumping off of it. Guys, the Glassblower is coming out in just a few months. It comes out April 18th. It's February right now, but I'm getting really excited. One reason I'm really excited about it is because it is set in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. And as you guys know, I really love history, and of course I love the 1920s. I've written a whole book series about it. And in the Glassblower, I get to talk about my hometown a lot and its historical importance. So nowadays, not too many people are familiar with Louisville, Kentucky, but back in the 1920s, we were kind of a big deal. Louisville was a popular place for people to come visit. Part of the reason for that was because of the racetrack, Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs is actually on the cover of the Glassblower. Right there, that's the Twin Spires. The Kentucky Derby takes place every year. It's a huge party. People bet on horses. People drink a lot of mint juleps and a lot of bourbon. It's just a lot of fun. And with the 1920s being such a party time, it was really popular. There's also a luxury hotel there, the Seelbach. Some of the Seelbach's most important visitors include F. Scott Fitzgerald and Al Capone. And if you've read The Great Gatsby, you may remember that Daisy and Tom actually got married at the Seelbach Hotel. In fact, Daisy is from Louisville. So as I get ready for the Glassblower, I'm gonna be making videos about each of these different things. But the thing I wanna talk to you today about is the Goat Man, or the Poplick Monster. Now, the Goat Man really is something that features in my book. It's not a super well-known legend outside of Kentucky, I don't think. I mean, maybe if you live in Tennessee or Ohio, but it's not like the Chupacabra or something. But when I was growing up, the Goat Man was kind of a big deal. It's an urban legend you heard a lot about. So I don't want to give too much away, but in the Glassblower, Pasha and Fina end up having to go to Louisville. And as you may remember from the Breadwinner, there are some interesting ways to get to Valere from our world, which is called the Other. There are these things called gateways. In the Breadwinner, the gateway was Grand Central Station. In the Glassblower, the way you get to the Other in Louisville is through the Poplick Trestle, which is where this monster is said to live. So the Poplick Trestle is a bridge that belongs to the Norfolk Southern Railroad, and there's a legend that a half-man, half-goat creature lives on this bridge. It lures victims up to the railroad track, either using hypnosis or voice mimicry, and people go up there and then they get hit by oncoming trains. There are several origins to this story. Some people say that it is the spirit of a farmer who started sacrificing goats to the devil in exchange for satanic powers. Some people say that this started early on when Kentucky was settled, that the local Native American tribes, they had a shaman and they were trying to ward off the settlers from encroaching on their territory, and the shaman became a skinwalker, which is some type of spirit that like takes on animal attributes. Other people say that it's an escaped circus act, that the train derailed and this circus performer escaped. What's really weird about this legend is that usually, and I like folklore, if there are any lore listeners out there, you know that there's usually some kind of story back in time that starts this whole thing. There's some kind of mysterious death. I could not find anything, and maybe it's because this legend is it's small, it's localized, it's not like everyone's heard of it. I can't figure out where this came from, where it started. There have been multiple deaths that have occurred near the Poplick Trestle from people falling off the bridge, but that is because they were thrill seekers going up there looking for the Goat Man. I don't know what started this. I have looked. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't really even find a good date where this began. It sounds like it probably started in the 70s or 80s, and it just got really popular with teenagers. They would go down there, they would start climbing up the trestle as some kind of dare, and a lot of people, because of this legend, they assume that the railroad is abandoned. It's not. It is still in use, and people are still dying. The last death that I heard about was in 2014, and this story was actually pretty scary. A thrill seeker and her boyfriend, they were from Ohio. They came down to Kentucky to visit the trestle. Now, they have put up a large fence to keep people out because it has been such a problem with people going up there and climbing the bridge, trying to find the goat man, but they somehow got through. And of course, a train comes, and they come fast. There was not a lot of time for these people to get away. The lady's boyfriend, he was, I think, some kind of like martial arts instructor, so he was very strong. He managed to hold on. I think it was the Norfolk Southern Railroad that issued a report saying, okay, look, you know, there was a movie made about this, and it makes it look like it's easy to dodge these trains by holding onto the sides, but you don't understand like how much strength that takes. That whole bridge is rattling. You're holding your entire body strength on the side of that train, and it takes a while for those trains to pass. If you've ever been stuck in traffic when a train is coming, how long are you sitting there in traffic? It's a while. So don't be thinking that you can get on that train and just hold on. This guy, he was a martial arts instructor, and so he did have the body strength to hang on. So he survived, but he said he saw his girlfriend, she was hit, her body went flying. This guy was really traumatized. It's a really sad story, and this, I believe, happened in 2014. So, I mean, this was pretty recent. Now, because this is a local legend, and it's something I heard a lot growing up, I really wanted to include it in the story. When I was first writing The Breadwinner, before I wrote the book taking place in New York City, I wrote the entire thing taking place in Russia, and it was a very long manuscript. And the original way into Valere is by jumping off a train bridge. When I moved it to New York, I had to change that, but I liked the idea of taking places that were kind of known for different folklore and turning them into portals. So I had an opportunity to kind of pay homage to the original plan for The Breadwinner of how to get in Valere. And I got to incorporate folklore from my own hometown. There's even a funny story that's very specific to me. So the first time I heard about the goat man, I was pretty young. I was probably in elementary school, and the reason I heard about it was because of my dad. Now, my dad is a no-nonsense person. He does not believe in the paranormal. We joke and say he's just like Ron Swanson, and he is just like Ron Swanson. He's not gonna believe in ghosts. He's a chemical operator, and so he has to work a lot of shift work. One day he was coming home from work. At that point, we lived probably 45 minutes away from where he worked, and so he had a long drive, and he was sitting in traffic. He'd just gotten off a long shift, and he looked up and he's like, and I saw the goat man dancing on the hood of someone's car. And everyone's just like, what? What did you see now, Dawn? Who? What? You? So, of course, my dad's like, well, I was just really tired, and we were talking about it. Plus, if I remember correctly, this was like nowhere near the Poplick Trestle. This was somewhere out in Valley Station. Of course, as a child, I thought that was hilarious for several reasons. One, a goat man. Two, dancing on the hood of the car. And three, my dad saw it. Who was the last, just no. So that was my first experience with the goat man, and it has stuck with me ever since. So that's my story. I know there have been a few shows like on Discovery that have featured it. For some reason, I could not find a lot on the internet, but there are resources out there. I even think there's a book. I know at some point, too, a local theater in Louisville did a play about it, and it looked really cool. Unfortunately, I was not able to see it. I was living here at the time. But yeah, so I highly recommend you go check it out. It's an interesting story. But please, please, if you're ever in the area, like, okay, I'm serious, though. I'm serious. Don't do it. Don't try to go up on the bridge. There's not a goat man, okay? There's just a train that's gonna hit you and knock you off and kill you, so don't do it. And you're definitely not gonna get to Valere, okay? My husband's boss said that I should say, you probably won't get to Valere, but you won't get to Valere! Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be on the lookout for the next one. I have a lot of really cool things planned. And don't forget, the Glassblower comes out April 18th. You can pre-order the ebook right now. All you gotta do is go to Amazon, look up The Glassblower by Morgan True Bloom, or look up The Breadwinner by Morgan True Bloom. I highly recommend both. See you guys later, bye!